What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Home Slice. As you can see, the sharpening shack has been turned into a bit of a baby cave with a hammock here and alternative parent sleeping accommodation so we can get the crying outside at night or get the crying inside at night and get me outside and whatever. So one of us gets some sleep these first few days so that we can be present for the two girls, our little girls. Anyway, I had a baby. He's a boy. We've named him Lazarus. The backstory on that is that last year we lost two babies. We had miscarriages on two different pregnancies. One of them was ectopic, and so if you don't know what that means, there's just some medical complications. We were concerned for my wife's life and well-being, and she ended up being okay, but it was quite hard to lose the two. And I guess I'll take just a second to say, man, I'm so sorry for any of you guys that have gone through that. I know it's like way more common and way more impacting than people ever recognize. So if you guys have gone through miscarriage and stuff like that, my heart goes out to you. In the wake of the miscarriages, we found out we were pregnant and held it kind of lightly, because if you've lost some babies, then you don't consider it a right to get them on the outside, but you consider it a privilege and a gift. We chose the name Lazarus partially because it means God is my helper, partially because of the story. My wife and I are believers in the teachings of Jesus and the things that he did in the Bible. I will say that as I share that, you will always be welcome and valued on this channel, at least. If you have differing beliefs, you're totally welcome here to be yourself. But anyway, we believe that the Bible's true, and there's a story where Jesus calls a man named Lazarus to come out of a grave. And we wanted to choose the name as sort of this declaration into our lives and into the world that there's somebody who holds life and death, who has authority over those things, as that was just really a comfort in our losses and our sense of purpose in the wake of losing several babies. And so he came out and we saw that he's a boy. I'll put up a video of him here. He's a healthy dude. He's super peaceful. He's just a joy to have. You gotta love it when you get that newborn that's like on the reasonable side of things for a newborn. It's so good. Anyway, thanks for all you guys' thoughts and prayers and excitement. He's here. I wanted to just share that with you all. Lazarus is an awesome little guy, and we're so excited to get to know him and take care of him. I wanted to take just a second to actually address some questions that I've got. Some people have been asking me about the CarbEx edge, the edge that I put on my CPM M4 Spyderco, where I tried to intentionally expose unbroken and really unshaped vanadium carbides in the edge. Obviously, a lot of you guys will have seen that the S30V with just a simple 250 grit coarse edge actually far outperformed the CarbEx edge. And I've got some guys who have asked me to give a little bit of a reading on how's the aggression of it, what is it like to use and when you slice with it. I should say first off that I'm not entirely sure that I have properly formed a carbide exposed edge. I think the next step that I'll do is I've got a translucent Arkansas stone on the way, and I'm fairly confident that that will, because it's an adhesive wearing stone that's made of silicon carbide, and I'm fairly certain that that will expose carbides effectively. So I want to try some of this stuff over again with more than just my like translucent agate stone, which was like 10 bucks on Amazon and is not the highest quality. Just to confirm that we've actually maybe achieved that, but the best number would seem to suggest that we have. Anyway, all of that aside, the edge that I have created that consistently often gets under 100 grams on the best tester. When you take the agate stone to it and you put that little micro bevel on it, you can feel, I'd say probably you lose about 60% of the bitey, aggressive feel that it had. So it's not quite the same as the denim strop. If you do some like relatively high angle passes on the hanging denim strop that I've been using, it's like the aggressiveness is gone. It's the edge is very, very smoothed out, on the verge of rounded, which is great in a chopping application. Really, really awesome, because it removes all the metal that's undergone permanent deformation. Anyway, it's more aggressive than that. If you sharpen just like a coarse edge, there's like one level of aggression. If you sharpen up to like lapping film or Spyderco ultrafine, you can feel that just bitey, like it wants to grab your fingers, it wants to whittle a hair. It doesn't have either of those. I would say it's much less than the Spyderco ultrafine, etc. A little bit less aggressive than a coarse edge, and much smoother feeling. It's really durable. Like, you can chop on stuff with it and you don't experience a lot of edge losses, which is something that I would anticipate. It does push cutting applications really well, and it will slice and sort of just feather its way through paper, printer paper, pretty easily. So anyway, I would say probably a little more than, if I was to like put an arbitrary number out of my experience on it. You lose about half the aggression or so. I think it did poorly in the rope of death test because it's hitting all of those silicates and stuff like that, and they're not probably chipping it, but they're probably wearing it away, and it's kind of already rounded. Something that I am curious about is whether like a dual grit edge or a coarse edge sort of wears away and degrades to a carbide exposed edge anyway. Does that make sense? Because the steel, if the steel is worn away, a lot of dulling, it happens by abrasion, especially if you're cutting up cardboard or rope or something like that. So I'm wondering if those rougher edges, when they wear down, they actually become kind of a CarbEx edge anyway. And so you actually perhaps lose kind of a step or a stage of sharpness, and you actually only get a limited range. You maybe gain some toughness early, that if you were to take that, you know, coarse edge or whatever and chop into a piece of oak with it, then it would chip, you know, microchip along it. Maybe you preserve a little bit more of durability, but I think you maybe lose that sort of like ultra aggressive stage and maybe don't gain as much back. I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to be doing more testing on it. After I get the Arkansas stone, I'm going to try it with that. And then I think the next step, I was just reading in the knife deburring book by Vadim Krychuk that he achieves a similar thing. He uses chromium oxide, because chromium oxide wears away the steel matrix but leaves the carbides. And he mixes in a particular sort of size, micron size of diamond emulsion in it. And what he claims is that sort of rather than like wearing away and having these round carbides sticking out, the chromium oxide sort of wears away the steel matrix to refine the edge and get it shaped properly and get all the plastically deformed metal removed. And as the carbides are exposed, it won't wear on those, but the diamonds will actually change the shape of the carbides so that they're a little bit more like acutely shaped along the apex. And he claims that it has like really, really high, well, he claimed, sorry, unfortunately we've lost Vadim, my condolences to his friends and family. But anyway, he claimed that it actually preserves a high level of bite and aggression without significantly damaging the apex or the carbides. So I gotta get some chromium oxide. I'm looking around for some. I want to try out some different strops and different stropping techniques. I've got my friend Anthony is helping hook me up with some strops here in the pretty near future. Bro, you're awesome. Thank you for that. It so helps when you guys contribute ideas or items because of the limited budget I'm on. But I'm hoping to get some chromium oxide paste into a strop, get some, try it with and without diamonds, and see if maybe we could do a CarbEx edge that doesn't have rounded carbides, but actually has carbides that are shaped down into like more acute angles at the tips, or different rough shaped structures that maybe would accomplish what I have found in terms of durability and smoothness of cutting and all of that stuff, but with greater retained slicing aggression. Anyway, this has become a long video. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you're interested to see how it slices through a piece of paper and sort of some practical demonstrations, I'll sharpen up my Spyderco that way again. It's not sharpened that way now, but I'll sharpen it that way again sometime today. And then tonight before I go to bed, I'll grab some printer paper and I'll add it to the end of this video. So stay tuned in this video if you want to see that. Otherwise, I hope you guys are doing awesome. I got some stuff I'm really excited about in the next 2 weeks, like really excited. But anyway, I won't do any spoilers. What's up, guys? Oh my gosh. I got a fire made. I made some North African food for dinner. Got the girls all down. Danny is situated with the baby, and I am exhausted. But I managed to squeeze in a quick sharpening of this. I did the same sort of CarbEx edge on this M4 that I had done previously. So this is a piece of printer paper, and yeah, it doesn't, it sounds, I guess, closer to a coarse edge than a fine edge. If I'm correct about what's happening at the edge, I suppose that's due to the texture of the carbides sticking out. So slices nicely, will push cut. Got bound up a little bit there, but I think generally when I've done this, I've not had a lot of problems push cutting. Didn't quite get that last bit. What else? Doesn't really want to do the cursive cut super smooth, but I also have a new baby and I was a little bit more rushed doing this than the last one. I guess for comparison point, this is the Jensen Knives Coastal Camper 63 Rockwell Nitro V. It's got a dual grit edge on it that I sharpened 3 weeks ago. It's done meal prep for probably like, I don't even know, 5 meals at this point. More of a hiss going through than a sort of tear or zipper kind of sound. More high-pitched. No problem at all. Push cutting. Oh my gosh. I love this knife so much. I am slowly drifting from the land of super steels are the best to like, I'm like drifting toward this like, I don't know, maybe like Sandvik and Nitro V and AEBL really hard at the best. Because I'll tell you, this thing is like the eternal strop back knife. Like, you can use it for so long and just strop it once and it's back to this. It is ludicrous. It's just effortless. I don't even get it. This is wearing a dual grit edge, which obviously didn't perform as well in some of the chopping tests because of the high shock, but anyway, sorry, I'm not supposed to be talking about this. I'm not supposed to be talking about this. Final thoughts for the moment. CarbEx edge seems really durable, seems effective, like long-lasting-ish working edge. It does not seem to have the long-lasting aggression of a dual grit edge, and it doesn't seem to quite have the aggression of like a well-deburred coarse edge. I like it overall, but at the moment, the way that I'm doing this is not my favorite edge. This is probably down more like number 6 or 7 on the list at the moment. So hopefully that answers the questions of the guys who wanted more in-depth info. There you go, guys. Some guys like to measure by shaving, so I probably should include that information. This is scrape shaving. It's definitely taking a bunch of hair off. Don't know if you can see the hair. It's not like gliding through. It's not hair whittling. The dual grit edge is shaving with much less effort. Hairs there. Still not, you know, still not at like freshly sharpened straight razor. This has been used and this is fresh, so. But definitely capable of removing hairs with very light pressure on this one, and I'd say like medium pressure with this one. So there you go. Almost forgot. Cursive cut, Nitro V, dual grit. Yeah, no problem whatsoever. Even the end there, I got sloppy. It just kept cutting. You just can't stop it. Stuff is ridiculous. I'm not very good at cursive cuts. There you go. That's a pretty sharp turn. I'd say it passes. Besides that, I just can't stop using it because it's just a lightsaber. It's just so good. I just used this to cut up chicken. It was like butter. Okay, see you guys. I hope you have a great day. I hope you enjoyed seeing my little boy. And for today, I will just say peace out from the home slice. All you guys take care of yourselves. Bye.